It's for recording information, but it's also a way to make sure that you don't forget any important information. So, so I'm going to start, you'll see, this is how I make blank data forms when I'm actually collecting data. The first thing that I do is I make a spot for my name. And I'm not going to put underlines or anything. I'm going to do this quick. So what I want you to do is follow along. Yours will end up looking a lot like mine, at least to start with. And then I'll show you some cool things that you can do down the road if you want to add a little bit to it. The next thing is I'm going to put group partners. And that's less important. That's more for me than it is for you. So when you fill it out, if you wanted to just put initials, that would probably be fine. And then it's important that you give some indication about your what it is that you're trying to address. So I would just write question or purpose or something so that you can write on there. Find out how depth affects decomposition, or find out how moisture or temperature, or whatever it is that you're looking at, okay? And then for each of your locations, you're gonna collect a bunch of data. And if you just write down that data and you don't indicate which location it belongs to, then you're potentially gonna forget. Oh shoot, which one was the one with the sandy clay loam or whatever? So the next thing that's really important is to put the location of the sample. If you have a map and you have numbered locations with a map, then make sure that you attach that to the document so that you and someone else can identify which location was being measured. And then we're going to go through and we're going to add the information that we're going to collect in the order that we're going to collect it. So the first thing we did was soil texture. And that, I think everybody's got, don't type the answer in here. You're going to hand write it after I've printed the forms out, or after you've printed the forms out. But leave a blank for it. And then the next thing that we're going to be measuring is called, and you don't need to know what this is yet, I'll explain it tomorrow, but it's called water holding capacity. And then the next thing we're going to measure is something called pH. And pH is a lowercase p and a capital H. And if you write it a little bit differently, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, and then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use the pH to estimate nutrient availability. So this isn't a measurement we're going to make, but we're going to try to sort of take a guess based on the pH what the nutrient availability might be. So we'll put a blank for that because we'll write that next. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at soil organisms, and we're going to get two pieces of information there. One is a list of soil organisms, so we can just say soil organisms present, and we can make a list. And then we're going to use that to make a calculation called biodiversity or just diversity. So we'll just say soil organism help diversity, okay? And believe it or not, this is kind of good enough. Now you need this stuff from starting where it says location of sample all the way down to soil organism diversity. You need to have that data for all of your samples. So that's going to be most of you have 3 or 4, right? So you're going to have 3 or 4 of these blocks of data. So you could just copy and paste, which is what I would do. So I would probably I'd probably put a space in here after the question, and then I would copy and paste this. 2, 3, 4. And there's my blank data sheet. Now, the problem with this blank data sheet is it kind of looks crappy. So I'm going to show you some other stuff that's really kind of nice that you can do. The first thing is we can turn this into a table. So so what we'll do is we can select everything. And the best way to do that, I think on a Chromebook, you have a control key, right? Do you have a control key on it? What happens if you push Control A? Does it highlight everything like mine just did? Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the Insert menu, you can choose Table, and then just like go down here and highlight it so that it says 2 by 1. Oh no, that didn't work. That's not what we wanted. Let's see, there's a different way to do this. No, I don't think it can do it. I don't do this in Docs. I always do it in Microsoft Word. Okay, so we'll do it differently. We'll put the table up top. So you can just go Insert, Table, and all you need to do is put a 2 by 1 in. And then you can copy one line at a time into the table. And if you click on the blank cell and then press Tab, it'll make a new line. So then we can copy this, and then we can copy this. And what's cool about this is that then, like, if I want my question to have a little bit more room, I can hit return even a couple of times. Now I have more room to write my question. And I can slide this part of the table over here so that there's room for me to write this stuff. And then maybe I want a blank, and then I'm going to put the location of my sample and the soil texture and the water holding capacity. Yoink, 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 yoink. And the pH and the nutrient availability, soil organisms present, which I'm going to need a little bit of room for, and the soil organism diversity. And so now you see it's kind of cool. Like it's laid out in a way that makes it pretty easy to see where things are going to go and when I'm going to write them. And this is why we often call it a data table, because it actually is in the form of a table like this. And at this point, you could keep doing that, or you could just highlight this and press Control C or just go to the Edit menu and choose Copy. And then if you paste it, it'll paste everything in. Now I can just delete these. And you can see like it's starting to sort of take shape. And then you can do other really cool stuff, like if I want to have, instead of just a big gap, what if I want to have like something that sort of delineates the samples? It's not letting me change that. That's unfortunate. I can kind of fill in some of these things, and I don't know how to do it in Sheets, because again, I always use Word. But I think, yeah, look, you can change it. So now I highlighted it, and then I click on background color, and I just make it black. And so now my sections are really obvious. And you can make them, you can change the size of things as well. And I don't know exactly how to do that in Sheets, but I'm guessing if I make the font smaller, yeah, see, look, I can make the font smaller, and I can do that here too. Just highlight them. And if I make this font smaller, then it makes the line smaller, and that's kind of nice. So this kind of stuff is all optional, but it actually makes a difference when you're filling out the data. Okay, the last thing that I want to show you, which is super useful, is how you can put this, you can make this organized. So if you, right here where it says Untitled Document, if you click there, you can change this to Decomposition Study Data Form. And then see where it says My Drive? If you click there, you can put it into a folder. If you don't have folders, I really suggest that you make them. My folders look like this. It's organized by school year. So mine go all the way back to literally the 1998-1999 school year when I first started teaching here. And so if I go into my my year, then I have a folder for this class, and I even have a folder for the stuff that we're doing with soils. And then when I move it here, now it's in the right spot and I can find it again really easily. So that's not required, but it's recommended. All right, we'll keep working on stuff tomorrow. Sorry about Canvas. Thanks for your patience, and I'll dry out your soils and we can do some work tomorrow.